evening, sports fans. Thank you so much for joining us for this Cricket South Africa Level 1 umpiring course presented by Western Province Cricket Umpires Association. My name is Abdullah Steenkamp. My co-presenter for this course is Tom Okorosi. And for the next 3.5 to 4 weeks, we will take you through the 42 laws of cricket. The content was sent by Tom via an email. So all course material was in the email. And if you did not get the email, please in the chat box put your email address in there and Tom will email you the course material. I'm sure World Cup fever has bitten us all. I am glued to the TV. Just watched some great batting by the Windies, and hopefully Zimbabwe can chase down the 255. I think they need to get. One of our poster boys, Alaudin Palika, is right in the middle of the action. He's got a game on Wednesday evening. He's doing New Zealand, Pakistan, I think. And we're hoping to get him in either our second last lecture or our final lecture, where we will have him live and he can take us through his experiences at the World Cup. And I'm sure we will open the floor if you do have any questions. So to kick off tonight's lecture, let's start with the meeting protocols. So firstly, all microphones and cameras will be inactive while Tom and I present. We will present for about an hour and a half. So from 6 South African time till 7:30, we will present. After that, we will open the floor for question and answers. While we are presenting, please write down your questions in the meeting chat box. When we get to our Q&A session, we will then answer the questions. Importantly, keep your questions content related. So whatever laws we've covered in today's lecture, when you do put a question in the chat box, it needs to relate to the laws that we've covered today. We will have 7 lectures. Each lecture, we need questions on the content, but in the 7th lecture, we will, in our Q&A session, we will then open the floor for any law or umpiring related questions. Also, in the Q&A session, once we've gone through the questions in the chat box, we will activate your microphones and cameras again. And those of you that do have a question, you can then unmute your microphone when prompted, switch on your camera if you want, and we will then answer your content related question. I mentioned that a lecture will be about 90 minutes. We might go over slightly, but you are welcome to leave at any time. Why? Because we do record these lectures. And the recording of these lectures will be made available the next day on our YouTube channel. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, those of you that's not subscribed yet. How do you subscribe? You go to YouTube, you type in WPCUA, it's an acronym for Western Province Cricket Umpires Association. So type in WPCUA. our channel will come up, and then please subscribe to our channel. As soon as you subscribe, you will get a notification as soon as the video gets posted. There are also lots of other content, or umpiring related content, that you can find on our YouTube channel that I'm sure will definitely be useful. There are many of you that can't stay the full lecture, or some of you can't attend the live lecture. That's why we're recording uh, the um, the lectures. So in the comfort of your own home or car and in your own time, you can then listen to the recordings. So those are the meeting protocols. Let's formally introduce myself and my co-presenter. So my name is Abdullah Steenkamp. I am Head of Training at Western Province Cricket Umpires Association. My co-presenter is Tom Okarosi, and he is the Training Coordinator at Western Province Cricket Umpires Association. Both of us, we are on the Cricket South Africa first class panel. We officiate Division 1 4-day T20 and 50 over cricket in South Africa, as well as we do SA20. It's been going on for 4 seasons, and it's just getting bigger and bigger every year. I have to mention my co-presenter, Tom. Tom is an International Cricket Council umpire master educator for Africa, and he does level 1 and level 2 courses. Let's look at the timetable over the next 3.5 to 4 weeks. Before we get into the timetable, we are covering 42 laws in this course. Even though in the exam only laws 1 to 40 are examined. Those of you that's going to do level 2 and 3 with us later this year, we will then go into detail in level law 41 and 42. But for the purpose of this course, we will only cover laws 1 till 40 because those are the only laws that will be examined. And the laws that we're covering is the Code 2017, the Edition 22. Yes, I know the ICC or the custodians of the laws, the Marylebone Cricket Club, they've announced a week or two ago that later this year, 1st of October 2026 to be exactly, there will be changes to the laws. But those changes will only be effective 1st October 2026. So for the purpose of this course, we will still cover the current laws as they are in the law book. And yes, come October 2026, we will definitely be incorporating the new laws into our courses. So, how does the level 1 timetable looks like? In total, there are 7 lectures starting tonight. So I'm covering the intro. After I'm done with the intro, Tom will then take over and he will cover laws 1 till 5. On Wednesday evening, 1800 hours South African time, till 8 o'clock, we will cover laws 6 till 11. Lecture 3, which is Monday the 2nd of March, we will do 12 to 18, 19 to 23 on the 4th of March, 24 to 31 on 9 March. Then on 11 March, we will do 32 till 40, and we will include a match preparation, a few match preparation slides. So in those first 6 lectures, we would have covered all the 40 laws. In lecture 7, that will be a revision lecture where we will go through certain slides, and those slides will assist you in preparing for your exam. And in lecture 7, Tom will take us through an online exam demonstration. It will be a click-by-click demonstration how to register, and then how to start your exam. So those will be the 7 lectures up until 16th of March. Exam fees are 300 Rand for South Africa citizens, and anyone outside South Africa, it will be $30 US. The account details for RSA citizens is in the email, or the content email that Tom forwarded to all of you. Tom, if you can please post the account details again in the chat box. And for those outside South Africa that needs to pay for the exam $30 US, we do have a PayPal account, and Tom will also insert the link of the PayPal account into the chat box. The lectures are all free. Just to write the exam, you need to pay the 300 Rand for SA citizens and the $30 US for those outside South Africa. So those fees needs to be paid before or on 25 March at 1800 SA time. Tom and I, we don't have access to the banking account, so we can't see who's made any payments. That's why. So it is important that when you do make a payment, please send your proof of payment to training@wpcua.co.za. And what we will then do is, all those that have forwarded the proof of payment to the email address, the exam link will then be sent to the relevant email address. So how does the exam work? There's a 10-day window period that you can complete the exam. That 10-day window period will open at 9 o'clock SA time on the 26th of March, and it will close 9 o'clock SA time on the 6th of April. So any time between 26 March at 9 and 6 April at 9, in the comfort of your home, your office, wherever you are, you can attempt the exam. So what does the exam entails? It's a 69 true or false or multiple choice question exam. No need to write any paragraphs. Most of the questions are either true or false, or multiple choice, or fill in the missing word or words. So in this 10-day window period, you get a max of 5 attempts, and you need an 80% pass mark. So what is 80%? 56 out of 69. You need 56 correct answers. If you get 55, which is a 79 point something pass mark, unfortunately that's not good enough to pass the exam. You need 80%, which is 56 correct answers out of the 69. And you get max of 5 attempts in the 10-day window period. So if you do attempt the exam, let's say at 10 o'clock on Monday the 26th, If you pass the exam, your results will be displayed immediately, and your certificates will be mailed to Tom and I, and we pledge that within 24 hours we will make sure that your certificate is emailed to you in the email address that you've made available to us. So 10 days, you get a max of 5 attempts. So in your first attempt, if you did not pass, you'll get your result immediately, and it will tell you you failed, and you'll then have 4 more attempts left. What I do suggest is, if you do fail your first attempt, please don't do your second, third, and fourth. Don't do them consecutively after each other. Give yourself, you do have 10 days, so give yourself a bit of time, recoup, go over your notes again, listen to the revision lecture again before attempting your second or third or fourth attempt. But I am confident that it's going to take all of you one attempt and you will pass immediately. Again, as soon as you pass, you get your results immediately, and Tom and I will make sure that those certificates are forwarded to you within 24 hours of you passing. So now you've passed your level 1. You now have a Cricket South Africa level 1 certificate. What's after that? There will be level 2, and that will start in April 2026. All level 1 passes will be emailed the level 2 course material about a week or 10 days before the course starts. So that's a summary of what we will be doing over the next 3.5 to 4 weeks. Next, I'm going to cover the Western Province Cricket Association, Cricket South Africa, and ICC umpiring career timeline. This is applicable to those umpires that, after obtaining your level 1 Cricket South Africa certificate, and you want to pursue a career in umpiring, I'm going to take you through an career timeline from where you start, what divisions you'll do, right up until you get to the highest level of umpiring. If you get onto the elite umpire panel. Again, I want to emphasize, this is the umpiring career timeline for those umpires that is in Western Province Cricket Association. So where does your umpiring career start? It starts with you obtaining level 1 certificate. All the umpires in South Africa, from our current elite umpires, Adrian Holstock and Alaudin Palika, to the just retired elite umpire Marie Erasmus, where did they all start? They all started by doing the Cricket South Africa level 1 exam. Tom and I, where did we start? We started by doing our level 1 cricket cricket umpiring course. So that's where all of us start. So once you've obtained your level 1 certificate, the next step that you need to do is you need to join the local umpires association, and here in the Western Cape, in Cape Town, it is the Western Province Cricket Umpires Association. So you need to make contact with the association, informing them that you do have your Cricket South Africa level 1 certificate and that you would like to join the association. as you would like to become an umpire. So you'll send that email with your certificate. The executive will then look at your application, and then they will then approve your application. Now you are a member of the Western Province Cricket Umpires Association. So where do you start? So in the Western Cape, there are various leagues. Your top league is your Premier League. You then get your First Division A, First Division B, First Division C, and First Division D. So with your Level 1 certificate, seeing that you just started, you will start in the First Division B League. You are also eligible to do Western Province age group trials like boys and girls under 16, and those, and you also can do school games. You can do ladies first division A games with your level 1 certificate. So that's why we all started. We all started in the lower division, and as you progress as an umpire, and I'll take you now through it, you will then move up the ranks. But you start with your level 1 certificate doing First Division D. After a season in First Division D, you then get experience as an umpire. Yes, we are covering the theoretical part of umpiring in this course, and yes, it is a very important part of umpiring, because we, the umpires, we need to know our laws and playing conditions. You'll be surprised how many players, from international to club cricketers, don't know the laws. So that's why it's important for us to know your laws. So yes, it's important that we do know our laws and our playing conditions. And for the purposes of this course, we're only covering the laws of uh, of cricket. But we all know umpiring is a practical sport. There's also a practical aspect to it. And yes, those of you that's going to join the Western Province Cricket Umpires Association before the season starts, Tom and I and our training department will definitely take you through some practical aspects to get you ready to start in the First Division D next season. So after a season of doing First Division D, you gain experience, and there's no substitute for time on the park. It's like driving a car. Yes, you pass your learner's test and you know the rules of the road, but to know how to drive a car, you need to get behind the wheel of the car and spend as much time on the road. That's how you get a better driver. Umpiring the same. The more games you stand, the better you get. So after a season in doing with your level 1, doing First Division D, Western Province group trial matches, ladies First Division A matches, then next year you are then eligible for level 2. And with your level 2 certificate, you are now able to stand First Division C and B in the leagues here in Cape Town under the auspices of the Western Province Cricket Association. So then, after a year in doing First Division C and B, you're now eligible for level 3. And with your level 3 certificate, you are now eligible to stand First Division A and Premier League games. You are also eligible to stand Western Province under 19 and academy matches. So those are the progress at club level, where you start with your level 1, you move on to your level 2, and then you get to level 3 in your third year, and with your level 3 you're now eligible to stand Prem and the First Division A. So now also with your level 3, you are also eligible to go to a Cricket South Africa tournament, which is boys under 16 and girls under 16. So here, the executive of Western Province Cricket Umpires Association, they will identify, they will monitor your performances, throughout the years, throughout the leagues. How do they monitor your performances? After each game, captains do write a report on both umpires, and those reports get sent to the executive. Also, we do have assessors, and assessors will go to various games. They will have a look at the various umpires, and they will then write reports on the umpires that they've observed, and those reports get also sent to the executive of the Umpires Association. And based on the assessors' reports, captains' reports, and if you're doing well, the executive of Western Province Cricket Umpires Association will then nominate you to go to a Cricket South Africa boys under 16 or girls under 16 tournament. So that is the first step in terms of umpiring. You'll see there's a red line. So that red line, there is an age restriction that was imposed by Cricket South Africa, where if you've reached the age of 42 years, you are unfortunately not eligible to go progress any further in the Cricket South Africa pipeline. They want you to be 42 years old or younger when you've have your level 3 and you've done First Division A and Prem, and you've done boys under 16 and girls under 16 and was nominated by the executive. If you are older than 42, unfortunately, you cannot progress any further in the Cricket South Africa pipeline. Then next, to progress further in the Cricket South Africa pipeline, so now we get to the senior Cricket South Africa tournaments, and those are boys rural under 17, universities week B, girls under 19, boys under 19, rural week, SA20 schools week, Cricket South Africa women's division 2 weeks, university weeks, Cubs week, Club Champs Community Cup. To be eligible for these tournaments, Cricket South Africa, they nominate the umpires to go to these tournaments. So what will happen is, at those boys under 16 and girls under 16 tournaments, there are umpire managers there. They will look at the potential umpires, and if they do see potential in you, they will then nominate you to go to the rural under 17, boys under 19, girls under 19, rural week, etc., etc. So these tournaments are Cricket South Africa nominated tournaments. So next, if you do well at these tournaments, and at these tournaments, there are also Cricket South Africa umpire managers, and they manage these tournaments. And if there are potential umpires, the next step is then, and this is by invitation only, and this is for South African citizens only. You get invited by Cricket South Africa to write your level 4 exam. So level 1, 2, 3, those are for at club level only. So in South Africa and for South Africans only. And again, emphasis on by invitation only, because Cricket South Africa, they invite the candidates to come and write the level 4 exam. And with your level 4 exam, you're now eligible to officiate in men's Division 2 provincial competitions. You're now on the Cricket South Africa reserve list panel. You're also eligible to do South Africa under 19 and SA women's inbound tours. With your level 4 certificate, and if you do well on the Cricket South Africa reserve list panel, you will then get promoted to the Cricket South Africa National First Class panel, where Tom and I are currently officiating. And once you're on the first class panel, you then do Division 1 provincial competitions. You're also eligible to do SA Emerging and SAA inbound tours, and you're also eligible to stand in the SA 20. Before I get to the next step, which is now at international level, different umpires will take different years to get to these various level. If you look at level 4, if I can use Wilhelm Nell as an example, Wilhelm took 10 years since he started umpiring to get to the CSA reserve first list, CSA reserve list panel. We have Stacey Lakay, who's currently officiating in the Pakistan Proteas Women Series. It took her 3 years to get on to get a level 4, and she's now on the international panel. Currently, Tom and I, we've been doing this for 18 and 15 years respectively. So yes, it takes individuals different timelines to get to the various levels. Yes, some do go quicker through these levels than others, especially if you're a first class player. Former first class players, if they do perform at the various tournaments, they do go quicker through the system than others. And that gets me now to international level, the International Cricket Council. So for South Africa, has 4 individuals on the Cricket South Africa international panel. They are Babs Guma, Mogani Zele, Arno Jacobs, and Stephen Harris. Just to give you timelines again, took Arno 10 years to get to this level. On our female international panel, we currently have 3: Lauren Achenbach, Kieran Klaaster, and Stacey Lakay. Lauren, it took 10 years. And once you're on in the international panel, you're now eligible to stand in World Cup qualifier tournaments. You can now do T20 internationals and ODI internationals in South Africa. You are also eligible to get called up by the ICC to officiate in the under 19 World Cup. One of our umpires, Babs Guma, was called up this year to officiate in the under 19 World Cup in Zimbabwe, and Babs did exceptionally well. He made it to officiate in the final of that tournament between India and England. So you then, once you're on the international panel, you can now the progress there from the international panel is onto the ICC emerging panel. And once you're on the emerging panel, you're now eligible to do international series outside South Africa. You can also do global World Cup qualify tournaments. And then lastly, if you do well at these tournaments, you then eligible to be selected by the International Cricket Council to climb onto the elite panel. So that is the highest panel that you can achieve as an umpire. Currently, South Africa has two representatives on that panel, Adrian Holstock and Alaudin Palika, and obviously they are currently officiating at the current World Cup, T20 World Cup in India and Sri Lanka. So ICC Elite Panel, that is the highest that you can go, the furthest that you can go. So to summarize, you start at getting your level one, where we all started. And yes, we all want to get to the ICC Elite Panel. It's a dream of all umpires, but not all of us is going to get there. In the world, there are only 12 on that particular panel, 12 in the world. And I took you through those timelines, and it takes different amount of times for different umpires, uh, to get there. Uh, Adrian Holstock, it took him 18 years to get onto the elite panel. Alaudin Palika, it took him 19 years to get onto the elite panel. Uh, it took Marie Erasmus 8 years to get onto the elite panel. So yes, it differs from umpire to umpire. Some goes quicker through the system than others. Also, nothing is guaranteed, but just focus on the level that you are on in now. Let's say you have your level one. If you join the Western Province Cricket Umpires Association, focus then on doing well in your Division D in your first season, and take it season by season. Yes, the long-term goal is hopefully to get onto the ICC Elite panel, but nothing is guaranteed. But take it year by year. Work hard, and hard work pays off. We saw now Alaudin Palika, Adrian also started with a level 1 18 and 19 years ago respectively. And today, 19, 18 years later, they've made it onto the elite panel. Lots of hard work, lots of patience, and nothing is guaranteed. So I took you through the timeline, or umpiring career timeline, of an umpire here in Western Cape that's with his or her level 1 CSA certificate and joining the Western Province Cricket Umpires Association, where you start, and God willing, if you do well, you could end up as an ICC elite umpire. We do have an exchange program here at Western Province Cricket Umpires Association. So what is this exchange program? So after passing your Cricket South Africa, your level 1, 2 or 3 umpiring exam, you can contact us and you apply for a tourist visa, which allows you for a maximum of a 90-day stay. And you can visit South Africa between October and March each year. Those are our summer months, and those are the months that we play cricket in South Africa. So you can book a flight and be in Cape Town during the season anytime between October and March. Very importantly, and I'll emphasize it again at the end of this slide, we, Western Province Cricket Umpires Association, we do not provide any visa or accommodation or any travel assistance. If you'd like the experience of standing at club cricket level here in the Western Cape between October and March, we will welcome you with open arms. You can book your accommodation using Airbnb in one of Cape Town's, one of the Airbnbs in the southern suburbs here of Cape Town. Most of the clubs are concentrated in the southern suburbs,
So if you do decide to come, you can book your accommodation or first get your visa, then book your accommodation at an A&B in the southern suburbs. On the slide, we've listed a few of the suburbs. There's a bit of admin to do. You need to complete a Western Province Cricket Umpires Association membership application form. And then you will then mainly be appointed to do matches on a weekend. There are a few midweek matches, but those are few and far in between. So most matches are Saturday and Sunday. That's when the club cricketers play the cricket here in Cape Town. So match fees ranges from depending on the level that you're doing. If there's an under 11 T20 match, you'll earn 200 South African rands, and if you're doing a men's Premier League game, you will earn 522 South African rands. These monies will be paid to you in cash after your last match, and to belong to the association, there will be subscription fee that you need to pay. And if we do allocate clothing to you, we will also subtract monies from your match fees for the clothing. And best way to get to and from matches used by the use of e-hailing services, and Uber here in Cape Town is the most popular e-hailing service. So yes, we do offer an exchange program for any umpire with a level 1 or a 2 or a 3 umpiring um, certificate. Again, I want to emphasize, we do not provide any visa accommodation or travel assistance. Uh, you need to pay for everything from your own pocket. I'll ask Tom to put a link in the chat box. We had an Indian exchange umpire. His name is Daitram Singh. Daitram joined us in 2022. He arrived in Cape Town in December and he left in March. So he was here for 3 months. So Daitram then he was lucky that his employer allowed him to work remotely. So Daitram could work from Monday to Fridays in his room at the Airbnb, and then on weekends, Saturday, Sunday, he could then stand. In 2023, Tom did an interview with Daitram at an SA20 match at Newlands. Tom, if you can please be so kind as to put a link in the chat box of that interview that you conducted with Daitram, and interview Daitram will take you from the start of his journey when he applied, what he had to go through. He'll take you through his stay here in Cape Town, and it will end off by his departure. Back home to India, and he will then also explain to you how the Cricket South Africa level 1, 2, and 3 certificates helped him in his progress in India. And next, I'm going to start, and this is how the law books look. We don't have physical law books, but Tom did in the course material attach a law book in PDF format. There's also various apps that you can download on your phone where you can have the law book. And in the law book, the very first section of the law book, what does it cover? Does it cover the laws? No. The very first section of the law book speaks about the spirit of cricket. And I'm going to play you a video that's going to speak about this important aspect of cricket, the spirit of cricket.
Well, the spirit of cricket is about going out there, giving your all 100%, fighting against the opposition, but doing it with a smile on your face and doing it with enormous respect for the beautiful game of cricket.
Bowled him. Middle stump. The way you conduct yourself on and off the field, it's about respecting the opposition, respecting the game.
You embracing the game, yes, but also how you play the game, what example you are for young kids growing up.
Big shot, and he's gone as well.
I think the spirit of cricket is about respecting the traditions of what's been before us and those who have been before us as well. And as cricketers, we've got a duty to make sure we uphold those.
You know, you let your skills go to work when you play, but you treat each other and the game itself, which has been around a lot longer than us, with respect, and you hope that you leave it in a better place than what you started with.
Now, playing it hard, playing it fair, and if you're representing your country, and we're very, very privileged, you should cherish that.
It's obviously competitive, no professional international sport isn't, and you would never want to lose that competitiveness from any of the players, because that's what makes the game as good as it is. But it's obviously a line in terms of doing it the right way and doing it the wrong way, and I think it's one of the important things when trying to, I guess, inspire people to play the sport.
Yeah, just conducting yourself in a way that probably your parents and your grandparents would want you to. I think that's probably the easiest way to describe it.
Obviously, after what happened in South Africa, you know, I know those guys really well, and I know that they're not proud of that, and they made a mistake. And unfortunately, that's something they're going to have to live with, because at the end of the day, he made a mistake, but he's still a very good person.
Everybody will make a mistake at some point in their career, but it's about repairing those mistakes in future games and learning from your mistakes.
Yeah, there's no doubt about still being competitive and still wanting to win, but yeah, certainly you can win and lose in the right manner.
But I think out of that, you know, we've thought a lot about just respecting the game and everything around the game, and just putting the focus back on just playing the game.
It was a really closely fought semi-final, kind of went down to the wire, and you obviously kind of have a moment of celebration, but then your thought quite quickly turns to the opposition. It's obviously not something you think out or anything like that, it just kind of seemed like the right thing to do at that time.
We lost a test match against England, which was a cracking test match, I thought. Played between two very, very good cricket teams, playing aggressively but playing in the right spirit. And after that test match, we sat in the English dressing room, as the losers do. They go through to the winners' dressing room and shared a beer with them. And for me, it was just encapsulated everything which was good about the game.
I remember the Ashes Test match in 2005.
For me, the most iconic one is the 2005 Ashes, when Freddie Flintoff obviously consoled Brett Lee.
When he was sitting down and when Flintoff went to him and shake his hand, I think that's the spirit of cricket for me.
Yeah, that for me is the iconic moment. Kind of the result obviously went England's way, but he took the time to console a bloke that had put in a hell of a performance.
It'll be something like, I want to tell you, I've got great admiration for you and the way you guys played this match.
So, sure, you know, you respect for the opposition. End of the day, it's just a game of cricket, but I think that's the spirit of cricket for me.
But you actually, together, you sit down together, and that's the spirit of cricket. Friendship.
So vital, absolutely vital part of cricket. So, and we encourage, cricket encourages that the game should be played not just according to the laws, but also within the spirit. So whose responsibility is it to make sure that the game is played fairly and within the spirit? It rests with the captains. But it also extends to players, we as umpires, and in junior cricket, the teachers, the coaches, and the parents. Very important that you respect your captain, your teammates, your opponents, and you need to respect the umpires as well. Yes, you can play hard, but you need to play fair. Always and always accept the umpire's decision. Before I hand over to Tom, that's going to cover laws 1 till 5 for us, I'm going to show you an example in a World Cup qualifier. So there were lots at stake in this game. This wasn't a normal game. It was a World Cup qualifier, lots at stake. And have a look at this epitomizes the spirit of cricket.
Dare looks to hike that across the line. Andy McBride has ended up on his feet. I don't think they're going to run him out here, and that is brilliant to see. Asif Sheikh, take a bow. We speak so often about where the spirit of cricket has gone in our game, and you see it on show there, because Kamal Singh Irie has accidentally tripped up Andy McBride, and I've got goosebumps here in the commentary box, because that's a touching moment. It was accidental, but he could have run him out here, and Asif Sheikh has said no. He said he's not going to do it because of the spirit of the game. That's your nominee for the Spirit of Cricket Award for 2022 for the ICC. It's that young man, Asif Sheikh.
Massive respect for Asif there.
Here's this moment, this spirit of cricket moment. He's clearly tripped him, unintentionally albeit. And Asif Sheikh did the right thing. He had to think for a moment. It's only a split second he has. And what was lovely to see, the turn, and he went back, and Andy McBride said, thank you very much. He went over and shook his hand, and he said, you've done the right thing, and equally the same from Sandeep Lamachani. Brilliantly led. There's two young, inspirational men, Sandeep Lamachani and the man of the moment, Asif Sheikh.
Thank you so much, Tom. That's all I'm covering today. Handing over to you.
Thank you very much, Abdullah, and good day to all the course candidates. I'm going to take you through laws 1 through to law 5, and then we will open the floor up to questions and answers. First, we will take the questions that have been asked in the chat box while we're presenting, and then afterwards we will allow candidates to put their questions in voice and speak to the masses. So please stick with us and you will have your chance to ask any questions based on what we have presented today. Before I present laws 1 to 5, I want to, as a source of motivation and inspiration to all of you, show you a video of the men's ICC T20 World Cup in the USA and the Caribbean. This was a match between Australia and Namibia that took place in Antigua, and it focused on a day in the life of the 4 umpires involved in that particular match. So this is just a taste of what it is at the highest level that you can expect. As Abdullah mentioned, only 12 umpires in the whole world are part of the ICC elite panel. This is where we all strive to get to, and this is what it looks like behind the scenes.
Hit the gym in the morning before breakfast, then have a long breakfast with the colleagues. I mean, basically it's a relaxed day. Number one priority is to have a good rapport with all the team members, your on-field partner, third umpire, fourth umpire, coaches, match referee. So I think it's a team effort. If we want to have a successful game, it always has to be a team effort. It cannot be individual brilliance. Just like to open my stuff, go to the ground, choose our ends.
I'm a taller, so longest wicket is mine, and he's a short guy, so short one his. So whichever side it comes, it means I'm there and he will be there. We don't use coin.
Then we have a small casual chat with the ground staff if any weather is expected. have a word with the fourth umpire if he has anything for us, and then just come back again, get ready, mic up, and then be in the zone before the game.
Well, a little bit of history this evening here in Antigua, because it's the very first time in T20 internationals that Namibia and Australia are playing off against each other. I've got the captains out with me at the moment and our match referee as well, Jeffrey Streeter. Thank you for joining us. Mitch, give us your best style. Tails is the call. Heads it is. Australia wins. That's handy. What are you going to do and why?
I'm going to bowl first. If we have butterflies, it means we are ready for the game. But if don't, it means we are not normal.
Let's go. Let's see what happens.
Let's go. Let's go. Yes.
You're walking with us, are you? Yeah. You're in the front and we'll be at the back.
Charlie, how are you? Good to see you.
Umpires, off you go, please.
Have a good game, guys.
Cheers. Thanks, Mark.
Ready to go then. Match 24.
Outside, you think?
Fair delivery.
No, I didn't hit it. I'm worried about outside, but I'm happy to go with you. I can't tell.
10 seconds.
Have a look if you want.
And why not with 4 down? They're going to go upstairs, Australia.
Original decision on field is not out. I've checked the bowler's feet. It's a fair delivery. Let's start with front run, please. No gloves or bat involved. Let's go to ball tracking when ready, please. Original decision is not out. Pitching outside off, impact outside off, and impact over 3 meters. Stay with the original not out decision. Stand by.
Acting Roseri, the TV umpire, just confirming that Menon got it right on field.
What a professional performance by Australia.
It's fantastic. Excellent.
The team is allowed to roll the pitch between innings for a maximum of 7 minutes. So I've got to just monitor that and check the timings and see that the pitch is in the same condition as it was before the game.
It's a wonderful swing of the bat all the way. That is a comprehensive win to Australia by 9 wickets in the 6th over.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
Well done, Langton.
Well done, Lang.
Well done. Hello. Good finish, early finish.
Very happy.
Well, I think just quite simply, you did what you needed to do tonight. I thought communication between the two of you was really good. One of those games, you were very professional on field, and come out of it well.
Umpiring for me is a passion, and now it becomes a profession. We are lucky to see the world, whole world. This is fabulous, actually.
A passion becoming a profession. That's what we all strive for, and that is where we can get to if we pass our level 1 exam, go on to level 2, level 3, get on to our national first class panel, and then hopefully get on to our national international panel. A long way to get there, but as long as you enjoy the journey and you keep focused on the process and not worry too much about the destination, you will get as far as your ability and opportunities will take you. Right, so let's get into the laws of cricket. And as Abdullah mentioned, we are in this course going through laws 1 through to 40. Laws 41 and 42 will be covered in our Cricket South Africa level 2 and level 3 courses. For the purposes of the level 1 Cricket South Africa umpiring exam, we do not examine laws 41 and 42, so we will not cover them in our lectures. However, they are in the course presentation that I've sent to everyone. If you still have not received the course presentation, then please type your email address into the chat box, and at the end of this meeting, I will send all of those candidates the course material and logistics email. Law 1 is the players. What do we need to know about the players in the laws of cricket? Firstly, as I'm sure you all know, a match is played between two sides, each of 11 players, one of whom shall be captain. And we will see throughout the laws, especially laws 1 and 2, there's a tight relationship between the captain and the umpires. And we need to, as umpires, build rapport with the two captains of both sides and always keep them updated on everything that happens in the game before, during, and even after the last ball is bowled. By agreement, a match may be played between sides of fewer than or more than 11 players, but not more than 11 players may field at any time. Before the start of the T20 Men's World Cup, South Africa played against India in a warm-up match. And in that match, all 15 players in South Africa's squad took part. The batters all batted and the bowlers all bowled. But at any given point in time, there were never more than 11 players on the field. And so they were still, even within a friendly, they were abiding by the laws of cricket. If during the match and for whatever reason, a side is reduced to fewer than the original number of nominated players, the match shall continue as long as it is possible to do so under the laws or any agreements made before the toss. When the laws talk about any agreements made before the toss, we can also introduce the concept of playing conditions here. So the laws are generic and speak mainly to the playing conditions of more-day cricket. So if we take a test match as an example, the playing conditions of test match cricket are very much in line with the laws of cricket. If I take, for example, the playing conditions for Western Province club cricket here in Cape Town, we allow a minimum of 7 players to be able to play for a team. If there are less than 7 players who arrive at the ground for a team, then that team, after 30 minutes of grace, if they still don't have more than 7 players or 7 or more players, then they will forfeit that match. That is an agreement based on the playing conditions and the bylaws of Western Province Cricket Association. What does the team sheet look like where captains will nominate their players? On the screen on the right, you see what we use in Western Province Cricket Association to nominate players. As a captain, each captain shall nominate his or her players in writing to at least one of the umpires before or at the toss. You will see that there is space for a 12th player in that team sheet. That will be the nominated substitute. In different competitions, you can have 3, 4, 5, 6 substitutes as per the playing conditions. But at Western Province Cricket Association Club Cricket, we don't require a substitute to be named. We only require the 11 starting players to be listed on the team sheet. Very importantly, no player may be changed after the nomination of teams without the consent of the opposing captain. So what happens at the toss? The two captains come together with one or both of the umpires overseeing the toss, and the two captains exchange team sheets. So they will have their 11 players written on a team sheet depicted on the right-hand side of the screen. And we will learn later in the laws that the toss can take place anytime between 30 minutes before the start of the match and 15 minutes before the start of the match. So that's the window period that the toss can take place. If a player becomes injured after the toss, but before the match starts, and one of the captains wants to change that player and replace him or her with a fit player to take full part in the match, then they do not need to ask the umpires if they can change their team sheet. They need to get the opposing captain to allow that change to be made. A lot of people think it's the umpires who will allow that change. No, it's not. According to law, no player may be changed after the nomination of the teams without the consent of the opposing captain. That replacement player shall be considered the same player as the nominated player that he or she replaced for the purposes of these laws. And if the replacement happens after the start of the game, which is allowed as per the laws of cricket, a replacement player shall not bat in an innings in which the nominated player that he or she is replacing has already completed his or her innings. So yes, a replacement player can bat, can bowl, can keep wicket, and can even captain. But if they replace a player that has already completed their innings as a batter, then that replacement player shall not bat. And if the replacement player replaces a bowler that has already completed their maximum allocated number of overs to be bowled in a limited overs match, then they obviously also cannot bowl. Any unserved penalty time, any warnings or any suspensions that applied to the original nominated player will be inherited by his or her replacement. Law doesn't make mention of a like-for-like replacement that is required for a concussion replacement in international cricket. The concussion replacement is a playing condition that is in most international and domestic professional playing conditions for tournaments around the world. Let's learn a little bit about the captain. If at any time the captain is not available, a deputy shall act on his or her behalf. And if a captain is not available to nominate the players, any person associated with that team may act as his or her deputy to do so. So remember that before the toss, anyone, a scorer, a manager, a coach, can fill in the team sheet and even submit that team sheet to the umpires. But at any time after the nomination of the players, so from the toss onwards, only a nominated player can act as deputy in discharging the duties and responsibilities of the captain, as stated in these laws, including the toss. So if the coach of the team is not a player coach, then he or she is not allowed to represent the team at the toss. It needs to be one of the 11 nominated players on the team sheet. Ideally the captain, but in the absence of the captain, then any one of the other 10 nominated players can act on behalf of the captain from the toss onwards. That's law 1 done. Let's move on to law 2, the umpires. Before the match, 2 umpires shall be appointed, one for each end. That's the bowler's end umpire and the striker's end umpire. Around the world, different terminology is used for the umpires. The bowler's end umpires is frequently known as the main umpire or the standing umpire. For consistency purposes around the world, the law book only refers to bowler's end umpire. And for the striker's end umpire around the world, he or she is quite often referred to as the square leg umpire or the leg umpire. Please let us, for this course and all Cricket South Africa level 1, 2, and 3 courses, only refer to the striker's end umpire. It shows your knowledge of the laws if you use the correct terminology, and it will never be confused who you are talking about when you speak about the bowler's end umpire or you speak about the striker's end umpire. These 2 umpires shall be appointed, one for each end, to control the game as required by the laws with absolute impartiality. Very important, even if you are a player umpire selected to umpire at the striker's end for the match, that you execute the laws with absolute impartiality. That means you have no bias towards or against either of the teams. The umpires shall be present on the ground and report to the executive of the field at least 45 minutes before the scheduled start of each day's play. We will learn throughout the laws that there are various tasks that the umpires need to carry out before the start of each day's play. That is why we cannot arrive at the field 5 minutes before the start of the match. We need to be at the ground as per law at least 45 minutes before the scheduled start of each day's play. Can we change umpires? Law tells us that an umpire shall not be changed during the match, other than in exceptional circumstances, or he or she becomes injured or ill. If there is a change of umpire, the replacement shall act only as a striker's end umpire, because often when you have 2 official appointed umpires for a match, there is not a reserve umpire or a replacement umpire sitting at the field waiting for an injury or an illness to occur for one of the on-field umpires. So law says that if a replacement umpire is required, usually it will have to be a member of the batting team who stands at the striker's end. But if the captains agree, then the replacement umpire can and should take full responsibility as an umpire. You could have a scenario in a club match where a qualified umpire is sitting on the stands and both captains know and trust that umpire as being impartial, and then he or she can join the match as an official umpire, umpiring both bowler's end and striker's end. But if you don't have that option and you don't have the agreement of both captains, then the replacement umpire shall only act as a striker's end umpire. That is square leg to square leg with the qualified umpire, bowler's end to bowler's end. As I mentioned earlier, the relationship between the umpires and the captains is very important throughout a game of cricket. So what are some of the consultations that we will have with captains? Before the toss, the umpires shall meet with the captains to determine the following: the balls to be used during the match. It's very important for fairness that the same balls are used by both teams when they are fielding. So we need to, if they are not listed in the playing conditions, we need to discuss at the toss which balls are going to be used. We also need to discuss and confirm the hours of play and the times and duration of intervals for meals and the times for drinks intervals. Which clock is to be used during the match? because when it comes to time cricket, we need to make sure that lunch is taken at a certain time, tea is taken at a certain time, and the close of play is scheduled for a certain time. So for all of us to be on the same page, we need to agree on a timepiece that we all use. Usually in big stadiums, the scoreboard has a clock on it, so that's easy. But if you are umpiring where there is no scoreboard and no time on the scoreboard, then you need to make sure that all your watches, the two umpires and the scorers, are synchronized. The umpires, along with the captains, also need to determine the boundary of the field of play and allowances for boundaries, including whether any obstacle within the field of play is to be regarded as a boundary. In the Pietermaritzburg Oval here in KwaZulu-Natal in South Africa, there is a tree 5 meters inside the field of play, and the ruling there for all the years that cricket has been played at the Pietermaritzburg Oval, if the ball is hit to that tree, whether along the ground or in the air, then it will be a boundary 4 if the ball touches the tree. So we as umpires do not go to the field and make up our own rules. We ask the ground staff at that field or the home captain what the local custom is for that obstacle inside the field of play. We also need to discuss the use of covers. Both teams need to pull covers in especially amateur and recreational cricket where you don't have ground staff to help pull covers. Very important that you mention at the toss that both teams are responsible for pulling of the covers, because if one team is in a losing position when the rain comes along and they would prefer that the pitch gets wet so that we can't resume play after the rain has stopped, then they will probably not want to pull the covers and cover the pitch. So to alleviate that awkward scenario, before the game starts at the toss, mention to both captains that both teams need to help to pull covers as instructed by the umpires when it rains and also when it stops raining. We also have to discuss any special conditions affecting the course of the match. I'll give you an example of a special condition. Many years ago, when the Queen of England was still alive, she went to an Ashes Test match at the famous Lord's Cricket Ground between England and Australia, and she wanted to meet both teams. Those of you who know the Test match times in England, the first session is from 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. But the Queen could only make it to meet the players on the field at 12. Normally at 12, there's a 4-minute drinks break on the field of play. But to come onto the field, greet all the players, and then walk back off the field, that whole scenario took about 15 minutes. So they had a special interval for the meeting and greeting of the Queen on the field of play. And that session was extended by 15 minutes to have lunch at 1:15 instead of 1 p.m. So that was a special condition affecting the course of that particular match that was discussed, arranged, and confirmed before the match started. Very importantly, the scorers are part of our PCT, the playing control team. Any of these arrangements mentioned to the captains at the toss should also be mentioned to the scorers before the match starts. Who are the sole judges of fair and unfair play? The umpires are the sole judges of unfair play. Who are the sole judges of the fitness of the field? Law tells us that it is solely for the umpires together to decide whether either ground, weather, or light conditions mean that it would be dangerous or unreasonable for play to take place. So those are the key words when we are deciding whether it is safe for play to start or to continue. Are conditions dangerous or unreasonable? If we feel that they are dangerous or unreasonable, then play will not start or continue. Very importantly, conditions shall not be regarded as dangerous or unreasonable simply because they are not ideal. So light drizzle, and if the grass and the ball are slightly wet, it does not mean that ground conditions are dangerous or unreasonable. Of course, if that slight drizzle continues and the ball becomes slippery and soap-like in texture, when the bowler bowls, then there is a risk that the ball will slip out of the hand and it will be a beamer, a non-pitching delivery that goes straight at the striker without a bounce. That then becomes dangerous. But for a few minutes of light drizzle, it is not dangerous, it is not unreasonable for play to continue. So when will conditions be regarded as dangerous or unreasonable? They will be regarded as dangerous if there is actual or foreseeable risk to the safety of players or umpires. When will they be regarded as unreasonable? Law tells us that even if conditions pose no risk to safety, it will be unsensible for play to proceed. For example, in a dust storm, it is not necessarily dangerous, but the players can't see the ball, so that then is unreasonable for play to start or continue. So when we are judging whether conditions are dangerous or not, what do we as umpires look for? Law tells us that if the umpires consider the ground so wet or slippery as to deprive the bowler of a reasonable foothold, especially fast bowlers who come charging in at a decent pace, they have a gather and a jump, which means their landing is pretty hard and heavy on the foothold. If that foothold is wet or slippery, that will be dangerous. If the fielders do not have power of movement, if the ground moves from under their feet, then we will consider that as dangerous. If the batters do not have the ability to play their strokes or to run between the wickets freely, then we will consider those conditions as dangerous or unreasonable. We shall suspend or not start play. Very importantly, if at any time umpires together agree that conditions of ground, weather, or light are dangerous or unreasonable, they shall immediately suspend play or not allow play to start. If play is in progress and the umpires do not agree about such conditions, they shall immediately suspend play. So what does this mean? This means that even if one umpire feels that conditions are dangerous, then play shall not continue. Why? Because in 2017, when they changed this law, they wanted to emphasize player safety. So they felt that if only one of the umpires feels that conditions are not safe, then they shall go off. That is the only place in the laws where you do not need agreement between the two umpires to make a decision. When there is a suspension of play, it is the responsibilities of the umpires to monitor conditions. They shall make inspections as often as appropriate, unaccompanied by any players or officials. As soon as the umpires together agree that conditions are no longer dangerous or unreasonable, they shall call upon the players to go back onto the field and resume play. The International Cricket Council, as well as Cricket South Africa, and I'm sure most umpiring boards around the world, want to maximize play, always within player safety regulations, but we need to, for the masses in the stadiums or those watching on television, we need to always try and, wherever possible, get play on the go. Let's talk about positioning of umpires. The umpire shall stand where he or she can best see any act upon which his or her decision may be required. So interestingly enough, the law doesn't actually specify how far back from the bowler's end stumps the umpire needs to stand. We do cover these practical outdoor techniques in a lot of our videos on our YouTube channel. Apart from the theory that you will learn over the next 3.5 weeks, you need to also be aware of umpiring techniques. So please, Abdullah, if you are available, please share the playlist for the Western Province Cricket Umpires Association YouTube channel, which has a playlist specifically dedicated to practical outdoor training videos. Abdullah, I believe, is busy with Ramadan prayers, so I will load that link when I'm done presenting. Subject to this overriding consideration, the bowler's end umpire shall stand in a position so as not to interfere with either the bowler's run-up or the striker's view. So again, interestingly, it doesn't specify that a bowler's end umpire needs to stand behind the middle stump of the bowler's end stumps. However, we do cover these techniques in our practical training videos. What about the striker's end umpire? Where does he or she normally stand? We know that he or she normally stands on the onside of the pitch at the square leg position. However, the striker's end umpire may elect to stand on the offside of the pitch at point instead of the onside of the pitch, provided that he or she informs the captain of the fielding side, the striker, and the other umpire. So there are 3 people that the striker's end umpire needs to inform when they move from the onside to the offside. In the exam, there are 69 true or false questions, and in total there's 69 questions. Some of them are true or false, some of them are multiple choice questions. When it comes to the true or false questions, if a statement is not 100% true, then you need to mark it false. So if, for example, the statement says the striker's end umpire may elect to stand on the offside instead of the onside of the pitch, provided he or she informs the captain of the fielding side, full stop. That would be a statement that is only 1/3 true because they haven't listed the striker and they haven't listed the other umpire. So if a statement is not 100% true, you mark it false. That's a little bit of umpiring technique and also exam advice. We will be going through a full revision lecture on the 16th of March, our last lecture, where we'll give you more exam tips. Do umpires change ends? Law tells us that the umpires shall change ends after each side has had one completed innings. So in a one-day international match or a T20 match or a T10 match where each side only bats once, then the umpires do not change ends. Abdullah will stand on the south end for the whole match and I will stand on the north end for the whole match. But if we have a 2-day match or a 3-day match or a 4-day match or a 5-day test match where each team gets to bat twice, after each team has batted once, then the umpire who was standing at the north end of the ground for the first innings will move to the south end of the ground, and the umpire who was standing at the south end of the ground for the first innings will move to the north end of the ground for the second innings of both sides. Where there is disagreement or dispute about any matter, the umpires together shall make the final decision. Okay, the only time that the umpires are allowed to disagree as per law is if one of them feels that conditions are no longer safe, then they need to leave the field. Everywhere else in the law book, they need to together agree and make a final decision. Can an umpire change his or her out or not out decision? Law tells us that an umpire may alter any decision provided that such alteration is made promptly. This apart, an umpire's decision once made is final. So, quite interestingly, law does allow us to change our decision. Say, for example, there was a ball bowled that was straight and you thought it was going on to hit the stumps if it didn't hit the pad of the striker. So you gave it out LBW. But as you went up, you replayed the delivery in your head. And because sound travels slower than light, you then on your replay heard the inside edge that the batter has got before the ball hit the pad. So now you realize you've given out a batter incorrectly for LBW because there was bat before the pad. Now law allows you to promptly change your decision. But just think about it. If you are to change your decision, then every single decision that you make for the rest of that particular match, the team that is on the wrong side of that decision will try and force you to change your decision. So although law allows it, it is not really recommended to change your decision as an umpire. Unless, of course, you are in a decision review system match where the players can challenge your decision. And if television replays show that you made an incorrect decision, then you have to change your decision as per the playing conditions for that particular tournament. Let's have a look at some of the umpire signals that you will use. Starting from the top left, the most common signal is out. What's important about the out signal is your index finger needs to be raised above your head. Next one is boundary 4. You move your arm, either one, from your chest out to the side and back. Quite importantly, you need to finish the signal at your chest, because if you were to finish out there, then it would look like you were signaling no ball. Boundary 6, both arms raised, whether pointed fingers or open palms, doesn't matter, as long as both arms or both hands are above the head. The bye signal, palms facing towards the scorer. Lay by, best if you can turn such that your leg that is raised is facing the scorers so that it's easy to see the raised leg, and then your hand goes against that leg. Short run, you tap the shoulder closest to your hand. Wide ball, both arms extended out horizontally. Dead ball, arms crossing at belt height. No ball, arm out horizontally. Cancel signal. After making the incorrect signal, you put the hands of the on opposite shoulders, and then we will learn later today that after 80 overs in a non-limited overs match, the fielding side is allowed to request a new ball. If and when they do request the new ball, you show that new ball to the scorers. Penalty runs, 5 penalty runs awarded to the batting side. You tap the opposite shoulder. 5 penalty runs awarded to the fielding side. You hold the opposite shoulder. And throughout the laws, we will be going through how and when penalty runs are awarded to each side. There are signals for level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4 offenses. We will deal with those signals and those offenses in Law 42 in our level 2 course. Very importantly, the umpire shall wait until each signal to the scorers has been separately acknowledged by a scorer before allowing play to proceed. If there are several signals to be used, they should be given in the order that the events occurred. So if we have a delivery that is a no ball because the bowler has overstepped the popping crease with his or her front foot, that delivery goes past the wicket keeper because it is a very fast delivery and maybe swinging. Then it goes all the way to the boundary for 4. So we will have firstly what happened in order of events: no ball, buys, boundary 4. And law tells us that if ever there's a no ball or a wide, we complete the signal by repeating the no ball or wide signal. Okay. Each time we signal, we need to get acknowledgement from the scorers before we move on to the next signal. Please do not make 2 signals at the same time. So you cannot signal 4 buys by putting one hand up and signaling 4 with the other hand. You need to put your first hand up, doesn't matter which hand you use, and then once you've got acknowledgement for the buys, then you signal the 4. Okay. All signals are to be made by the bowler's end umpire except the signal for short run, which is signaled by the umpire at which the short run occurs. However, the bowler's end umpire shall be responsible for both the final signal of short run to the scorers and for informing them as to the number of runs to be recorded for that particular delivery. Who is in charge of the correctness of the score. Law tells us that consultation between umpires and scorers on doubtful points is essential. At first-class cricket in South Africa and around the world, as well as international cricket, the umpires have got wireless radios where we can communicate with the third umpire who's off the field, and the third umpire usually communicates with the scorers. At club cricket, we need to make sure that if we don't have radios to communicate immediately with the scorers, at the next possible interval, we communicate to the scorers any confusion about a specific delivery, and we confirm that they've got the correct scores. The umpires shall throughout the match satisfy themselves as to the correctness of the number of runs scored, the wickets that have fallen, and the number of overs bowled. They shall agree these with the scorers at least at every interval, other than a drinks interval, because we do not go off the field during a drinks interval, and of course at the conclusion of the match. So that moves us nicely on to Law 3, the scorers. And the slide for the scorers is only one. There shall be 2 scorers appointed for all matches, and they shall record all the runs scored, all the wickets taken, and the number of overs bowled. The scorers shall frequently check with each other to ensure that their records agree. So you as umpires need to make sure before the match starts that the scorers are sitting together. They are usually from different teams, but they need to always be situated next to each other during a match. If it is cold and there's no warm building for them to sit inside, they often want to sit in their cars. That's fine, as long as they both sit in the same car so that their records agree. The scorers shall agree with the umpires at every interval, other than the drinks interval, and at the conclusion of the match, that the number of runs scored, the wickets taken, and the number of overs bowled agree. As mentioned, the scorers shall accept all instructions and signals given to them by umpires and shall immediately acknowledge each separate signal given by the umpires. The penultimate law that I'll be presenting this evening is Law 4, the ball. What are the weights and size of a cricket ball? And we are going to learn firstly about the ball for men's cricket. The ball when you shall weigh not less than 155.9 grams. So that is why around the world, usually the ball used in men's professional cricket is 156 grams in weight. The maximum weight that a ball can weigh is 163 grams. So 156 is in between 155.9 and 163, which is the maximum allowed. In terms of size, dimension, the ball shall not measure less than 22.4 centimeters, and it shall not measure more than 22.9 centimeters in circumference. Okay. In women's cricket, the dimensions are smaller and lighter. The weight is 150 grams to 151 grams. So I know that in Cricket South Africa women's provincial matches, they use balls of 142 grams in weight. And in boys under 13 matches, they use balls of 135 grams in weight. But the Cricket South Africa Level 1 exam only examines the weight and the size of the men's cricket balls. All balls shall be in the possession of the umpires before the toss and shall remain under their control throughout the match. The umpire shall take possession of the ball in use at the fall of each wicket, at the start of any interval, and at any interruption of play. It's important that throughout the match we make irregular but frequent inspections to ensure that the ball is not mismanaged and that any tampering of the ball is identified as soon as possible so that we can deal with such irregularities. And in level 2, we will learn how umpires deal with such irregularities. As mentioned, in a match of more than 1 day's play, the captain of the fielding side may demand a new ball when the number of overs, excluding any part overs, bowled with the old ball is equal to or greater than 80 overs. The umpire shall inform the other umpire and indicate to the batters and the scorers whenever a new ball is taken. Unless an agreement to the contrary has been made before the match, either captain may demand a new ball at the start of each innings. You as umpires do not need to show the ball at the start of a new innings because as per law and as per the playing conditions, a new ball will be used at the start of each innings. Only when a second or a third or a fourth new ball is taken in an innings do you need to show it to the batters at the crease and the scorers. What happens if a ball gets lost or becomes unfit for play? Law tells us that if during play the ball cannot be found or recovered, the umpires agree that it has become unfit for play through normal wear and tear, the umpires shall replace it with the ball which has had wear and tear comparable to that which the previous ball had received before the need for its replacement. Below in the picture, we see a ball being put through a ball gauge. The ball gauge measures the circumference of the ball. The two rings are a little bit different in size. The big ring is 229 millimeters. The small ring is 224 or 25 millimeters. And that is a ball gauge for a men's cricket ball. The ball needs to go through the big ring and it should not go through the small ring. If it goes through the big ring, then if it does not go through the big ring, then it means it's out of shape. If it goes through the small ring, then it means it's too small. In both instances, the ball will need to be replaced. When the ball is replaced, the umpire shall inform the batters at the crease and the fielding captain of the replacement ball. We do not have to show the ball to the scorers. We do not have to show the ball to the batters or the fielding captain. But if they do ask, it is courteous to show them the replacement ball. Last law that I'm going through before we get to our question and answer session is Law 5, the bat. The bat consists of two parts, a handle and a blade. Let's talk about the handle first. The handle is to be made principally of cane and or wood. The part of the handle that is wholly outside the blade is defined to be the upper portion of the handle. It is a straight shaft for holding the bat. The upper portion of the handle may be covered with a grip. Let's move on to the blade. The blade comprises the whole of the bat apart from the handle, and the blade shall consist solely of wood. No other material is allowed to be the blade of the bat. Here we have a picture from 1979, an Ashes Test match between Australia and England in Perth. Dennis Lillee walked out to the crease with an aluminium bat, and before that it was not in the laws that the bat had to be made out of wood. After this test match, it was put into the laws that the blade of a bat can only be made out of wood. There has been changes to the laws which will be effective on 1 October 2026. Please note that because those changes are not effective yet, we are still going through the latest applicable laws of cricket code by the Marylebone Cricket Club, who are the custodians of the laws of cricket, and their latest code is 2017 edition 4, which was published in 2022. That is the version of the laws of cricket that we are going through in this course. Later in this year, probably around July, we will start rolling out the new laws, or let's say the amended laws, which is Code 5, 2026 laws, which allow for bats to be laminated. But for the purposes of this exam and up until 1st of October 2026, the blade shall consist only of wood. For any part of the bat, covered or uncovered, the hardness of the materials and the surface texture of the bat shall not be such that either could cause unacceptable damage to the ball. What is unacceptable damage? Unacceptable damage is any change to the ball that is greater than the normal wear and tear caused by the ball striking the uncovered wooden surface of the blade. When is the bat considered to have made contact with the ball? If there is contact between the ball and the bat itself, it will be considered as the ball making contact with the bat. If there is contact with the batter's hand holding the bat and the ball, then that will be considered as the bat making contact with the ball. If any part of the glove worn on the batter's hand holding the bat makes contact with the ball, then that will be considered as the bat making contact with the ball. If any additional materials permitted on the bat make contact with the ball, that will be considered as the bat making contact with the ball. For example, a lot of batters use a toe guard on the bottom of their bat. If the ball makes contact with the toe guard, that will also be considered as the bat making contact with the ball. Bat size limits. These were introduced, most of these were introduced again in 2017. The overall length of the bat from top to bottom when the lower portion of the bat handle is inserted into the blade shall not be more than 96.52 centimeters, or those of you who deal in inches, 38 inches. To be fair, I have never measured the length of a bat. We do measure, however, the following dimensions. The maximum width of a bat is limited to 10.8 centimeters. The depth of a bat, or let's call it the thickness of the bat, is limited to 6.7 centimeters. The edges are limited to a thickness of 4 centimeters. And to be able to check if a bat abides by these particular limits, it should be able to pass through a bat gauge. This is what a bat gauge looks like. I've got a bat gauge with me as well. I've been trying to separate my ball gauge from the bat gauge. At the bottom here is the bat gauge. So a bat needs to pass through here for the size of the bat to be legal. And here we have a ball gauge with the two different hoops. Unfortunately, I cannot disconnect my ball gauge from my bat gauge currently. I will maybe show you that in our next lecture on Wednesday. So very importantly, a bat needs to fit through this bat gauge for it to be legal. What happens if a bat gauge does not fit through what happens if a bat does not fit through a bat gauge? It means it's too big, it's illegal. We do not confiscate bats. All we would do is mark an X on the shoulder of the bat, the top part of the blade. And us as umpires, we need to look out for any bats that have got an X marked on them. We know that they've been checked and they're too big. Okay. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is all that we are going to go through in terms of laws this lecture. Thank you very much for being with us for almost 2 hours of the presentation. What I am going to do now is I am going to allow all of you to activate your microphones and activate your cameras, and we will be going through the questions and answers session. First, we will be going through the questions posed in the chat box while we were presenting. And then we will go to the hands that are up in the meeting room. And I see there have been 3 or 4 hands that have been up throughout the lecture. So thank you for your patience. But we will get to you after we've gone through everybody's questions in the chat box. I am going to ask you, while we go through those questions in the chat box, for everyone to remain on mute. I'm going to quickly go back and mute everyone so that there's no disruptions while we talk through the questions in the chat box. So let's start at the top. And I see there's been a lot of communication, which is great. And before I get into the questions today, just for out of interest, I would like to get a feel of the audience, where everybody's from. So I am going to type into the chat box, Tom from Cape Town, South Africa. And if everyone can also just type in their names and where they are dialing in from today, so that we can get to know a little bit about our audience and where everybody is from. So thank you all for joining us and staying through the 2 hours of lectures. I know it's Ramadan around the world, and evening time, prayer time for most of you. This lecture is being recorded and it will be posted on our YouTube channel in about 15 hours time. So let's go to the questions and comments in the chat box. And I'm going to start firstly with, so the chat box keeps moving as people type in where they're from. So maybe it wasn't such a good idea to ask you to type in where you're from right now. And a lot of you also have already told us at the start of the lecture where you're from. Okay, so let's go to the first question in the chat box. How would this course apply to somebody in the West Indies? Sherman White asks. So Sherman, Cricket South Africa is a full member of the International Cricket Council. So the International Cricket Council recognizes our courses. And we have a number of candidates from the Caribbean who are affiliated to West Indies Cricket, who have done Cricket South Africa level 1, 2, and 3 courses. In the West Indies, they do have their own umpiring courses. So this course might or might not be an entrance level course to start umpiring in the West Indies. And this also applies to all other 11 test playing nations around the world. They all have their own umpiring qualifications. So what is the purpose or the benefit of you being in the West Indies or any other test playing nation in the world getting a Cricket South Africa level 1 umpiring certificate? Well, I will tell you that as per the interview that I posted in the chat box while Abdullah was presenting, we had an Indian umpire who did Cricket South Africa's level 1 umpiring course with us online in 2021 or 22, Daitram Singh. And at the time, he was an aspiring umpire who wanted to umpire club cricket in his state in India. But because there is such a huge demand of people wanting to become professional umpires in India and most test playing nations around the world, there was no opportunity for him to be allowed to write BCCI, the Board of Control for Cricket in India. There was no opportunity for him to write those exams and for him to start umpiring professionally or at least club cricket in India. But because of him doing Cricket South Africa's level 1 exam, it moved him above everyone else who was in the waiting list to write a BCCI entrance exam at his state. And once he passed Cricket South Africa's level 1 umpiring exam and sent his certificate to his state association, then they allowed him to write the BCCI level 1 exam. And once he passed that exam, then he got into state umpiring in India. So that was beneficial for him to get ahead of the rest of the crowd in India. And I'm sure it will be beneficial for you in the West Indies to get ahead of the crowd in your country, for you to be able to start club umpiring in the West Indies with a Cricket South Africa level 1 umpiring certificate. As I mentioned, you might still need to write your local exam, but it will definitely at least get you to write that exam if you have Cricket South Africa's level 1 umpiring certificate. I hope that explains the benefit to you, Sherman. Mr. Mboko D. Zimi, with my level 1 and level 2 umpiring certificate obtained from Western Province Cricket Umpires Association, Can I umpire anywhere else here in South Africa besides the Western Cape? If yes, what protocols must I follow? So, Mr. Mbokodi Zimi, it is a hard yes. You can umpire everywhere in South Africa, school cricket and club cricket with a Cricket South Africa Level 1 umpiring qualification. The exam is the same for all 16 provincial associations around South Africa. So the qualification and the certificate is the same. What you need to do is, after you have passed the Cricket South Africa Level 1 exam, you will get from me an email at the end of the exam window period. So the exam window period runs from the 26th of March until the 6th of April. And on the night of the 6th of April, I will email everybody who has passed and who has indicated that they would like to start umpiring wherever they are in the world. I will give you the contact details of the Umpires Association closest to you. So whether you are in Stellenbosch in South Africa, I will give you Boland Cricket Umpires Association's contact details. Whether you are in Mumbai in India, I will give you Mumbai Cricket Association's Umpire Association details. We do have contacts all around the world, and please, as soon as you pass your exam and I send you your certificate, you need to mention to me where in the umpiring world you are. And then if I don't have that contact available immediately, I will take the next couple of days to find the contact of your Umpires Association in your region for me to list it on that email at the end of the exam window period on the 6th of April 2026. So anyone and everyone who passes Cricket South Africa's Level 1 umpiring exam can and will get the contact details of the Umpires Association closest to them, and they will contact their Umpires Association with the certificate and ask to join the association. As mentioned, there will maybe be a requirement to write an entry-level exam in a different country, but in South Africa, this is the entry qualification that you need to start umpiring anywhere in the country. Bruce Boshoff asks, can you get to level 3 if you are over 42 years old? Bruce, yes, you can. So Abdullah mentioned that 42 is the age limit if you have not been selected by Cricket South Africa to officiate in the Kaya Majola week, which is the National Boys Under 19 week, which is part of the pipeline of producing umpires and developing them to get onto Cricket South Africa's emerging panel or reserve list panel, and then the national first class panel. If you are not there by the age of 42, unfortunately, you will not progress further in Cricket South Africa's pipeline. However, you can umpire club cricket in any one of our provincial associations up until we've had umpires here in Cape Town umpiring Western Province Cricket Association club cricket up to 67, 68 years old. So there's no limit to your age where you can umpire club cricket. But if you want to umpire above club cricket, if you want to umpire provincial first class cricket, you need to have been to Cricket South Africa's Kaya Majola week, which is the boys under 19 week national week, before the age of 42. Otherwise, they won't consider you. And somebody did give a reason for that. The reason is Cricket South Africa will invest in you by sending you to tournaments to develop you. And it took me, from the moment I started umpiring club cricket in 2007 until 2016, it took me 9 years to get onto Cricket South Africa's reserve list panel, from the age of 27 to the age of 36. In those 9 years, I went to probably about 15 to 18 amateur tournaments where Cricket South Africa paid for my flights, my accommodation, my meals, and match fees. That was Cricket South Africa's investment in me, and I am returning that investment by being on Cricket South Africa's national first class panel and officiating in Cricket South Africa Division 1 matches as well as SA20 matches. So they feel that if you have not reached Kaya Majola's week at the age of 42, there won't be enough of a return on their investment for Cricket South Africa. That is why the age limit exists. It exists for professional provincial umpiring, not for club cricket. So yes, you can get level 1, you can get level 2, you can get level 3 at any age, but you will not be invited for tournaments. If you haven't made it to Kaya Majola week by the age of 42, you will not be invited to any further Cricket South Africa tournaments. Okay, so Kennedy Bauman, yes, you are 43, and yes, you can definitely do level 1. You can do level 2, you can do level 3. I hope that also answers your question, Gavin Duplessis. Okay. Moving on to a question from Harsha Kumara. After having completed level 3, entering to national panel is eligible for people who are outside of South Africa. Harsha, unfortunately not. You need to be living in South Africa and umpiring in South Africa throughout your umpiring development years to be considered for level 4. And only when you've been invited by Cricket South Africa to write your level 4 umpiring exam, because they've identified you as an umpire who's good enough to umpire provincial first class cricket, and you will give Cricket South Africa a return on their investment, then you will get an opportunity to write level 4, and if you pass, you can umpire provincial cricket and get onto the Cricket South Africa reserve list panel. There's 18 umpires on, sorry, there's 12 umpires on the reserve list panel, and there's 18 of us on the national first class panel. You don't necessarily have to be a South African to get onto the panels, but you need to be living permanently in South Africa to get onto Cricket South Africa's national panels. Okay, I've got a few email addresses where I can send the course material after this lecture. I will do so as soon as we are done. Okay. Mr. MT Hendrickson asks, is there somewhere I can watch the recorded video afterwards? Yes. I did put a link in the chat box, www.youtube.com/Tom81CPT. That is the address for Western Province Cricket Umpires Association's YouTube channel. And I will load the recording of today's lecture in about 15 hours time, which will be 12 plus 3 is 11 a.m. South African time. Okay, tomorrow. Jason asks, for Law 2.8, what if the one umpire's decision is biased or where the umpire's decision will advantage a certain team? So Jason, you will remember that I mentioned right at the start, that when the umpires are appointed, they need to officiate with impartiality. That means no bias towards or against either team. Okay, so yes, the law allows for an umpire, if they feel that conditions are dangerous or unreasonable, for that umpire to suspend play, even if his or her partner doesn't think that conditions are dangerous or unreasonable. That is just promoting player safety. Okay, but it does not mean that they can abuse that privilege by going off the field early to protect the batting side. They need to be impartial, they need to have integrity, and they need to make their decisions without fear or favor. Okay, that is a non-negotiable as an umpire. Mr. Mbokodi Zimi asks, when does a team get a penalty? What does the fielding or batting side must have done to be penalized? Mr. Mbokodi, there are many ways that a team will be awarded 5 penalty runs because of something that the opposing team has done wrong. We will go through all of those in the laws throughout the course of this course. Okay, so we're not going to go through all of the examples today. They will follow throughout lectures 2 through to lecture number 6. As mentioned, we do not cover laws 41 and 42, which also deal with fair and unfair play and player conduct, where there are numerous examples of penalty runs being awarded. So we won't cover all the ways that penalty runs are awarded in the level 1 course. However, in the course material that I sent you, the presentation covers all 42 laws. So you can, in your own time, read up law 41 and law 42. But we won't cover law 41 and 42 in level 1. We will cover law 41 and 42 in level 2 and level 3. Land mobility admin. Does this class will be available in YouTube? Yes, it will be on YouTube tomorrow, 11 a.m. South African time. The channel is called Western Province Cricket Umpires Association. Jason asks, from what level in cricket do we have to measure the bat with the bat gauge? So Jason, good question. At club cricket here in Cape Town, we do not check bats with bat gauges. Why? Because only the umpires on Cricket South Africa's emerging panel or the reserve list panel, as well as the umpires on Cricket South Africa's national first class panel who officiate in provincial matches, we are provided with bat gauges by Cricket South Africa. So the club umpires do not have bat gauges. So for that reason, we don't check bats in club cricket. And we find as well that club cricketers don't normally have the resources to buy or make bats which are oversized. As well, bat manufacturers know the limits of bat sizes, and generally they do not exceed those limits. Okay, the only time I've ever seen a bat not going through a bat gauge was back in 2017 when the bat size limits were introduced, and Quinton de Kock used to have a bat that was bigger than the bat size limits. But that was because it was made before the law changes in 2017, which brought in the new bat size limits. Okay, bat manufacturers in this day and age should not be making bat sizes bigger than the allowed limits. Frank Hall asks, how easy is it to get umpiring kit once we have qualified? in Cape Town, for example. So Frank, Western Province Cricket Umpires Association, we have, I'm just going to mute everybody. Just give me a second. I'll mute everybody. So please, everybody, stay on mute until we open the floor up for live questions and answers. So in terms of our umpiring kit, we have branded Western Province Cricket Umpires Association standing shirts as well as standing caps. And you will get those if you join Western Province Cricket Umpires Association and you umpire at least 3 matches. Okay? Why at least 3 matches? Because we've had umpires in the past umpire 1 match, and after they've got the kit, they stop umpiring for Western Province Cricket Umpires Association. They move somewhere else and they still use our clothing. So that's why we require umpires to umpire 3 to 5 matches for Western Province Cricket Umpires Association before we issue them with official WPCUA clothing. Before you get official WPCUA clothing, you can wear a white cricket shirt without a club badge. If you do have a club badge, you just cover it with white tape, and you can wear a floppy hat without a club badge. If you do have a club badge on your hat, you just cover it with white tape. Okay, so that's how the clothing works for WPCUA. Okay, now I'm scrolling again to see where we are. Okay, so Tarun wants to know penalty runs for the batting side. Tarun, again, we're not going to go into all the ways that penalty runs can be awarded. You're welcome to look through the presentation that I've sent, and you can see all the ways that penalty runs can be awarded. We will go through them in subsequent lectures. Gavin Duplessis asks, are the umpires allowed to examine the bat before a match is played? Yes, Gavin. Normally in international matches, the umpires go to the net practices of the teams the day before the match, and there they will check players' bats randomly. At the SA20, which was concluded about a month ago here in South Africa, the 4th umpire would go into the dugouts of the batting side, and before each batter went on to bat, they would check their bat. That is how we check bats in professional cricket. Sandeep Paul asks the duration of the exam. The Cricket South Africa Level 1 exam is a 90-minute open book exam that you can do over a period of 10 days. To achieve the pass mark of 80%, you have up to 5 attempts in those 10 days to achieve the pass mark of 80%. There are 69 questions. Some of them are true or false. Some of them are multiple choice questions. And the maximum time limit for each attempt is 90 minutes. Okay, so you can check the presentation, you can check your law book, you can watch the video lectures while you are attempting your exam, but you only have 90 minutes to complete 69 questions. After the 90 minutes, they will submit only the answers that you have answered. Okay. So thank you all for mentioning where you are from. We'll just go through some of the locations that you are all dialing in from. Cape Town, South Africa, New Jersey, USA, Port Elizabeth or Mbeya, South Africa, Texas in the US, Paarl in Western Cape, Goodwood, Cape Town, A lot of Cape Townians in the house. Bloemfontein. Hector Spruit. No idea where Hector Spruit is in South Africa. Welcome, Heinrich. Tarun, how many types of bats? Tarun, if you look at the link that I posted with the application Laws of Cricket, you can check one of the appendices. It talks about the types of bats allowed, and the new laws also mention how many different types of bats allowed. But all you need to know for the purposes of this exam, and also if you're umpiring, bat needs to be made. The blade needs to be solely made of wood. Okay, only wood for the blade of a bat. Wolmaran Stud in South Africa. Welcome, Lizanne. Majaji from Johannesburg. Welcome. Sandra Freaks in Cape Town. Glen Marie in Cape Town. We've got Jean-Pierre Villiers from Free State, the Paris in Free State. Welcome. Orania in the Free State. Welcome, Renee. Marika is in Kleinmond, I think, in South Africa. Zimi from my hometown, Mtata in the Eastern Cape. Welcome. We have Gosinati from Zim. Phoenix is also from Cape Town. We've got Jason from Gauteng in South Africa. Lots of Cape Townians always representing. Welcome. Ruben from Mabeja. Rifat from Bangladesh, who's one of our regular listeners. Welcome back, Rifat. He's an umpire in Bangladesh. Kennedy from Uppington in Northern Cape, South Africa. Tariq from Stellenbosch, not far from Cape Town. Norman from Johannesburg. Romano from Franschhoek, beautiful area of the Western Cape here in South Africa. Pierre from Cape Town. Courtney from Meyerton in Gauteng. JG Kutsa, what is the duration of the exam? 90 minutes maximum per each attempt. And do we have to attend the exam online? Yes, JG Kutsia, the exam is online. It's presented by Umpires Universe, and in our 7th and final lecture, I will go through a click-by-click demonstration of how to log into the exam, how to copy and paste your username and password that you will get from Umpires Universe, how to select your region, and how to start the exam. And we will go through a mock exam of the Introduction to Umpiring exam, just to show you how to select and submit answers for the Cricket South Africa Level 1 exam. Phoenix asks, can you just remind me when and where we must send proof of payments for the exam? I'll type it into the chat box, Phoenix. It's training@wpcua.co.za. And the payment deadline for the exam is on the 25th of March at 6 p.m. South African time. I'm not going to submit it yet. In fact, I will do, because I've checked the time that last question was inputted, so I can scroll back to it. Then we've got Mark Sampson from somewhere. He doesn't write where. Tarun says, South Africa panel umpire. I passed BCCI level 1 umpire exam in 2011. Okay, Tarun, don't remember Tarun on the South African umpires panel. Maybe he means he's an Indian panel umpire. Mpo Se Ziba. I would like to know, since this is for the Western Province and I'm in Gauteng, how will it be beneficial here in Gauteng? Mpo, this is a Cricket South Africa Level 1 umpiring course. It is applicable and valid for the entire country. So the exam and the qualification and the certificate are the same for everyone in South Africa. And you can start umpiring in Gauteng once you have this certificate. Annalise from Richards Bay in KZN, good evening. JG Kutsia, when will the exam be? The exam window period is from the 26th of March until the 6th of April. You can attempt the exam anytime in the comfort of your home, office, or school, or anywhere with an internet connection. Bulelani from Mfuleni, Cape Town, welcome. Omar Fanesroy from Nairobi, Cape Town. From Nairobi, Kenya. Welcome, Omar. JG Kutsia is in Paul, still in high school, and he's already umpired a few matches for his school. Well done, JG, keep going. Bruce Boshoff, is the same limit of 42 applicable for umpiring ladies cricket? Bruce, all over the world, there is a push to have female umpires umpiring ladies cricket. So they are not so strict in terms of the age of female umpires when it comes to progression through the levels and the different international matches that you can umpire and the tournaments that you can go to in Cricket South Africa. But the age limit of 42 applies to male umpires. Not as strict for female umpires, but it is strict for male umpires. Not as strict for female umpires umpiring male cricket or female umpires umpiring female cricket, but it is strict for male umpires umpiring male or females cricket. I hope that makes sense. Renita asks, let's say I pass the level 1 exam, am I allowed to umpire for my own club when they play a game, or can I only be part of the playing 11? So, sorry, Brinshia, not Brenita. Brinshia, umpires are supposed to be impartial, and if and when you join Western Province Cricket Umpires Association or any other umpires association in South Africa, you will not be appointed to umpire your club until maybe after 3 years of umpiring. Then you will be considered as neutral. It's to safeguard yourself from being accused as being biased towards your team. You won't necessarily be biased, but the public opinion might be that why do we have Brinshia, who plays or played for Somerset West, umpiring in a Somerset West Cricket Club fixture? So also, we don't really recommend that you play and umpire in the same season. What I suggest is play as much as you want, enjoy your cricket on the field, but if you want to make a career out of umpiring, if you realize at the age of, say, 25, 26, that you're not going to make it as a professional cricket player, then start umpiring, because you'll be giving yourself the best opportunity to go the furthest you can as an umpire by starting early. And in life, you cannot be the best umpire that you can possibly be if you are umpiring and playing and scoring and coaching all at the same time. You need to pick one discipline and go with that one for the longest of time, commit to it, and there you will get the furthest that you can. Okay, I hope that makes sense, Brinshia. Harsha Kumara is from Sri Lanka. He asks, is there connections you have with the Sri Lankan umpires panel? Yes, Harsha. I know one of the umpire coaches in Sri Lanka, and if and when you pass your Cricket South Africa Level 1 exam, I will give you the contact details of that umpire coach in Sri Lanka, and he will put you in touch with the Umpires Association closest to you in Sri Lanka. Kartikeyan Sundar Raj, we will receive the presentation used for the class in email, all the course materials. Yes, Kartikeyan, I've sent the course material to everyone on email. Those who have put their emails in the chat box, I will be sending that to them after the end of today's lecture. What I can also do is I can copy and paste the link to the WeTransfer link, and you can, if you haven't downloaded it yet, you can download it straight from here. So just bear with me while I find the link, copy it, and paste it into the chat box. So that link will expire at 6 p.m. South African time on Wednesday. So please download it before Wednesday's lecture. Okay, moving along. Nikki asks, is there a minimum age to be eligible to write the exams? Nikki, 13 years old is the minimum age. Thanks, Mr. Hendrikse, for putting that in the chat box. Mr. D.D. Adams asks, will your details be shared with the clubs once you pass the level 1 course and join WPCUA, or how will you be contacted to umpire matches? So, Mr. Adams, on the 6th of April, once the exam window period is closed, I will email every passer the contact details of the Umpires Association closest to them, and I will include in that email the link to the Google form for anyone in and around Cape Town to apply to become a member of Western Province Cricket Umpires Association. So that's how we recruit new umpires. They fill in that form, they attach their Cricket South Africa Level 1 certificate, and you will get your answer to the application within 2 weeks. And then you can start umpiring as soon as you're approved as a member. Of course, the season runs from October until March, so this course will be ending after the season ends. So you will only start umpiring next season if you are in and around Cape Town. Okay. Tarun asks, Tom, I am Dr. Tarun in Ahmedabad, India. I passed BCC Level 1 exam in 2011. Also do umpiring many first class and corporate tournaments. These experience implement in South Africa Umpiring Association. Are you any connection in Gujarat Cricket Association? Tarun, I'm not sure exactly what you're asking for, your first question. Second question, Gujarat Cricket Association. I'm not sure if we have contacts in Gujarat. I will ask after the course. JG Kutsia. If an umpire makes an unfair decision of an LBW and the ball hits the batter in his stomach and then the umpire calls it out, and I challenged his decision, and they told me that he was going to penalize my team because I challenged his decision because the LBW was not close to out. Can he penalize my team because I challenged his decision? JG, in most cricket competitions around the world, there is a code of conduct that governs the behavior of players, and dissent is usually not allowed So dissent is verbal or a gesture challenging an umpire's decision. Of course, if you have a decision review system match where the players are allowed to ask for an official challenge of the decision, that is not a problem. But if you have a batter reacting aggressively to a decision who they think is incorrect, they can be coded by the umpires and given a level 1, level 2, level 3, or level 4 punishment, depending on how severe the offense was. No, the team will not be penalized 5 penalty runs. That is not the punishment for dissent. The punishment for level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4 is either a monetary fine or a suspension of future matches. I hope that answers that question. Brinshia asks, or says, the reason for asking is because whenever we play, there's no umpires allocated for any of our games. So now we have to use supporters to umpire our games. And we also play against the umpires also, which takes the fun out of the reason behind playing cricket. So Brinshia, I'm not sure what leagues you play in, but here in Western Province Cricket Association Club Cricket, the top 5 men's leagues have got official umpires, and all the other leagues below that, they use player umpires. And yes, the player umpires are from the teams that are playing. The batting side has to provide the 2 player umpires. And unfortunately, that does lead to sometimes biased decisions. But unfortunately, there is no real solution for that currently. What you need to do as a team is you need to get promoted to the top 2 women's leagues in Western Province Cricket Association. They get official umpires. So if your team is good enough, you will always have formal, professional, neutral umpires. Player umpires, different story, I'm afraid. JG, what is the highest team in school level that you can umpire with level 1? JG, it depends which province you are. We do at Western Province Cricket Association, Umpires Association, we do supply umpires to the schools which ask us to supply umpires. Most schools in and around Cape Town, they have their own umpires who are not part of Western Province Cricket Umpires Association. But we do umpire first teams under 19 boys of the schools that ask us to officiate their matches. Mr. Didi Adams, regarding match fees, do you get paid after the match or after the season? Western Province Cricket Umpires Association pays their members twice a year. December, just before Christmas, we break from the 17th of December to the 7th of Jan, the 3-week break. We get paid usually the early 20s of December for the first half of the season. And then at the end of the season, which finishes end of March, we get paid in early April for the second half of the season. JG Kutsia is in PAL. PAL falls under Borland Cricket Umpires Association, JG. I'm not sure which schools they provide umpires to. I do know that we've had umpires selected by Cricket South Africa to umpire in the SA20 schools provincial playoffs earlier in February or late January. So we do umpire SA20 provincial playoffs, SA20 schools provincial playoffs. Right, that's all the questions and comments in the chat box. Now we're going to go into the Cape Brinshire has asked, so what happens was we were promoted last year to play Premier League for the ladies. However, some of our ladies didn't feel comfortable enough, so then we decided to continue playing First Division A. I play for Northern's Goodwood Cricket Club. Great stuff, Brinshire. Keep playing, keep learning the laws, and hopefully the level of umpiring will get to enough umpires in the province to umpire women's First Division A, and then you can have official umpires in that league. JG says, I wanted to do the Boland course this weekend, but the request of people was too little, and now I'm doing the Western Province course. JG, once you pass your level 1 exam, I'll give you the contact details of the Boland Cricket Umpires Association, and you can join them. Does Goodwood fall under Western Province Cricket Umpires Association? Yes, Mr. Adams. So we cover the city of Cape Town, as far north as Atlantis, as far south as Fish Hoek, and as far inland as Somerset West. Stellenbosch, however, belongs to Boland Cricket Umpires Association. Okay. What is the dates of all the courses? JG asks. The course poster has our last lecture on the 16th of March. The exam is 26 March to 6 April. And then level 2 will start on the 7th of April. We don't have exam dates and lecture dates for lecture level 2 yet. And level 3 will follow in June after level 2. Now we move on to the hands that have been patiently waiting in the meeting room. Brinshire, I think we need to take your questions offline, so I won't be taking any more questions. Hands up in the meeting room. Thank you for your patience. Tarun, please unmute your microphone. The floor is yours. Tarun, are you still with us? Do you still have questions to ask, or did I answer them in the chat box? Okay, Tarun doesn't seem to be with us any longer. Next hand up is Rifat. Rifat from Bangladesh, please unmute your microphone. The floor is yours. And please remember, this is a level 1 course. We won't be taking level 2, level 3, and difficult questions. Thank you.
How are you? Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, Rifat, go ahead.
Thank you for Tom, and very glad to see you and hearing you again after a long time. Tom, my question is, recently MCC updated the laws of crickets. My question is, when the law will be applied in this year?
So the new laws, or the updated laws of the Marylebone Cricket Club, who are the custodians of the laws of cricket, they will come into effect on the 1st of October 2026. So that is why for this course and our level 2 course in April and our level 3 course in June, we will still be delivering the laws according to the latest applicable version, which is the code 2017 edition 4 from 2022. From our level 1 course in August 2026, we will start delivering the updated laws as per the 2026 code that come into effect on the 1st of October 2026. I hope that answers your question, Rifa.
Yes, Tom. I have 2 more questions. I have one question that in the restriction of enter the field, suppose in scheduled break in cricket match, suppose drinks break, generally 12 men carry the bottles or water to enter the field. Is there any restriction for the head coach of any team to enter the field during the scheduled match break, suppose drinks break or any strategy break? Is there any rule for head coach to instruct the player?
So Rifat, depending on the playing conditions, the laws of cricket do not stipulate who is allowed onto the field during a drinks break and who is not allowed on the field during a drinks break. The playing conditions for SA20, where we have 2 strategic timeouts, 2.5 minutes each, the coaches are allowed onto the field of play. However, in our 4-day competitions, Cricket South Africa does not allow the coaches onto the field of play during the drinks breaks. So it depends entirely on the playing conditions for the particular tournament or the match, whether a team is allowed to have their coach on the field for drinks breaks or not. Rifat, please unmute your microphone again. I did mute everyone because there was noise coming through. Rifat, you want to ask
Yes.
one more question?
Yes, I have one more question. In umpiring, when the umpire give a decision to LBW, suppose a bowler bowled a ball for LBW appeal, when in the standing umpire, sometimes the umpire give his decision and give the decision against the bowler. Umpire give the decision and at the same time the umpire signaling by waving his head. Suppose can I camera on? Head on.
Yes,
Suppose a bowler bowled a ball for LBW. I've signaled no, and I have signal in the hand is if ball touch the bat. In this case, bowler can get a hint that the ball touches the bat. I do not I cannot the decision because the bowler can if the bowler the bowler cannot give the umpire don't is there any rules for to give the signal for the umpire to help the bowler or opposing team?
So Rifat, we will get to law 31 appeals, where we will learn what the umpire needs to say or do to answer appeals. But to quickly answer your question, the umpire does not need to show why they are giving a decision not out. They merely need to shake their head or say not out, and that is the end of the appeal. The bowling side can ask the umpire, and please let's refer to the terminology used in the law book. It's the bowler's end umpire, not the standing umpire. The bowler or the fielding captain or any one of the fielders can ask the umpire why they didn't give it out, and the umpire is not obliged to give a reason, but it is common decency and good rapport to give a reason to the fielding side why you didn't give it out. But you do not have to show or tell the reason as to why you didn't give it out. I hope that answers your question, Rifat.
Thank you.
Right, last hand up in the meeting room, Arno Foslu. Please unmute your microphone. The floor is yours. Arno, are you still with us? If you are, please unmute your microphone and ask your question. Arno, I can see that your mic is unmuted, but I cannot hear you saying anything. If you want to, maybe you can type your question into the chat box. Sandra Freaks says, if we have no questions, can we be excused? Yes, Sandra, you can leave at any time. As mentioned, this lecture has been recorded and will be posted onto our YouTube channel tomorrow morning by 11 a.m. South African time. We will reconvene for lecture number 2 on Wednesday evening, 6 p.m. South African time, same place, same Microsoft Teams meeting link. Thank you all so much for your time, attendance, and your interaction. We have really enjoyed the lecture and enjoyed the question and answer session. We will hopefully see you all on Wednesday. Until then, have a great week further. Thank you and goodbye.